Push the video.
On your best behavior. On your best behavior. On your best behavior. Need you to be on your best behavior. On your best behavior. On your best behavior. Need you to be on your best behavior.
Hello, everyone. It's Myrrie.
And it's Kay.
Hi. And we are here for our, I'm not going to say weekly because we keep missing it, but for our podcast, BOYBB.
We're back.
Yep, be on your best behavior. So a lot has transpired, and we have been working on a lot in the past weeks.
Yes.
What we want to go over today is family economics, because I feel like this is, I guess, a good time to talk about that, to kind of give people pointers on things that we do within our families, and then, you know, just give the general population some ideas on things that you can do. So anyway, so at this present time, with just with the pandemic going on, and, you know, I heard on the news 63,000 businesses have closed just during the pandemic. So the beginning of this year, 63,000, that is huge. And I know a lot of people are on unemployment, and there's just a lot going on. So it's good. This would be a good time, if you have not before, to get your finances together. And I know you're like, well, heck, I may not be working, or, you know, my money has dropped. It doesn't matter. There's no time like the present, right?
That's right. And think about it too, that I heard someone doing a poem yesterday, and all these people that was getting unemployment, they were making more than what some of their jobs was paying. And people were saying, put the money up, put the money up, put the money up, set that money aside. That should be your emergency fund. Right. And some people didn't do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, things that we kind of implement in our family, you know, just to let you guys know, because I'll just let you know, since all of this has happened, my money has continued to come in. Actually, this has been like the best year ever in my whole life. So I know there's people dealing with things, and I'm not saying it to boast or brag. I'm just letting you know that if you do these things, it can change your family, because our goal is always to change our family tree. So every move we make, every step we take is moving towards that. So
that sounds like that song.
Every move I take. No. But anyway, don't get me to sing it.
Please.
So things that are very important to do, just foundational, is to meet with your family. Just to sit down, and I'm talking husband, wife, kids, if you have them, sit down and meet on a routine basis just to discuss finances. Because if you never, you know, let your kids know what's going on, as far as if you're doing okay, where your money's at, things like that, talk about bills. Once they move out on their own, they're not going to know what to do. So even if you're going through hard times, sit down, explain it to them. You know, this is what I'm doing. We're on unemployment right now. We need to tighten our belts, whatever the situation.
Yes.
We have meetings in my household, and not just my household, because, I mean, as some of you know, I have 6 kids. So I do have grown kids that have moved out. So we Zoom, and we have a meeting every 2 weeks where we sit down for a few hours and just discuss finances. So I have a 13-year-old, and I have a 15-year-old, and a 19-year-old at home. I was about to say she was 20. And then I have 2 22-year-olds, and I have a 29-year-old. And he is married, and he has 6 kids. We all meet on Zoom, and we discuss, we go over finances. We go over budgeting, you know, because you need a basic budget.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you don't have a budget or if you don't know how to do a budget, I don't have time today to tell you how to do that. But there are all kind of YouTube videos out there. Find someone on YouTube that you connect with and do what they do on the video. It's as simple as that. There's so much information out there right now that you don't have to pay for. So go out there, find somebody. You might have to watch 20 videos before you find somebody like, hey, I like what that person is doing. But find that person, follow them, and start a basic budget. Because you gotta. I'm told y'all we country. You have to know where your money is going. I always know where my money is going the month before. And so you need to know where your money's going. Because if you don't tell it where to go, it's kind of like your kids. If you don't discipline your money and tell your money where to go, it's going to be like kids that don't have no discipline. They're going to be running around, cutting up, robbing people, stabbing them. But I'm saying, that's the same thing your money going to do. It's going to be, what do they call it? Wreaking havoc on your life.
That's right.
So tell your money where to go. You have a budget, don't you, Kay?
My budget, my money.
Her budget is her husband. No,
that's my budget.
Right.
My money go where I do know where my money go. I'm a type of person. I check my bank account probably 3-4 times a day. Probably more than that. But I always just look at my bank account. But me writing down specific, because I don't pay any household bills.
Yeah.
So me setting a budget for that, I don't really have. I set a budget for projects that I'm doing, because I do several investment type things. So I set a budget for that, but I don't have any household bills, so I don't set a budget for that. That falls under Ebenezer Badu Day.
But that's the thing. In your household, you have to do what fits for you. It may not be that the parent can do the budgeting. It might be your oldest child may be better at money. And you guys say, you know what? We see how good you're doing with your money. Can you help us and do a budget for us? And we sit down and talk about it. You have to do what works in your family.
That's right.
So like in my family, I handle the finances. Hernandez allows me to, we both get an allowance. And then we take our household money, which is pulled together. And then we both have our own separate accounts too. So you have to do what works for you and your family. But I know that since I have came up with a budget like years back, it helps me to tell my money where to go. And then, as far as me putting money to the side and saving and things like that, I forget about that money. And then when I look at my account, I'll be like, oh, I'm rich. No, I'm just playing. I'm kidding. I'm not rich. But,
I was about to ask her for some money.
But yeah, so budgeting is very important. We also talk about credit, because I know back in the day, cash was cool. Oh, I don't do nothing on credit. This life, you gotta have credit. I don't care what nobody says, because when you apply for an apartment, they're going to check your credit. When you apply for a car,
credit.
You not buying it on, you know what? I bought a car cash and they check my credit. What kind of mess is that? But I'm saying, it's like credit rules in this day and time. Insurance,
credit.
They check your credit. Anything, they check your credit.
These SBA loans,
credit,
PPP, help you out or whatever.
Yeah. So
of course, people's credit is going to be bad because they out of work.
Right.
But they check your credit.
Yeah. Some people have been denied because of their credit. So I'm saying credit is very important. It can affect your life. So we talk about credit and how to clean up credit and how to build credit, because I have some kids that it's been cash, because I was trying to preach that. But credit rules. So these are things that when we meet, we talk about. So these are just suggestions. You guys build an agenda and do that in your family. Meet once a month. But like I said, I feel like it's very important that you meet and talk to your kids. Then another thing, living situation as far as family economics. There are so many people out there like struggling say if you are husband and wife and you have 4 kids, one is at home, 3 are outside of the home, and each of those kids is paying $1,500 in rent, and y'all mortgage is $2,000. Okay, that's $6,500. I think. Let me calculate that out. Yeah, $6,500 that you guys are paying out, and then 2 of your kids are behind on their rent, and and one is okay, and then you guys are, not to say you're struggling, but you're barely making it. To me, that doesn't make sense. But people always say, I can't live with nobody. I can't live. You can live with somebody.
If you're homeless on the street, you're gonna live with somebody.
Exactly.
The other homeless people.
So why why be in a situation where you guys are in 4 different households struggling when you can take $6,500? You could buy a freaking mansion.
You can buy a 4-plex.
Yeah.
You can buy 2 a duplex.
Yeah. So get a 5-bedroom house. Share it. Get a 5-bedroom house. If you already have a 5-bedroom house, suggest when they lease ends that they move back in with you, and you guys share the space. They're grown people. You sit down. Y'all set boundaries. You set rules. People know in my house, you need to let me know when you leave in the house. I don't expect a lot. If you're under 21, you need to be home by midnight, because you don't need to be roaming the streets in the middle of the night unless it's a special circumstance. Because I do have a 19-year-old, and sometimes she'll tell me, hey, Mom, somebody's having a kickback. It doesn't end till 3. Is it okay? If she's been consistent for 4 months, why not let her stay out till 3 in the morning? Because she's checking in with me. And plus, I have a locator on her. So I know where she at all times anyway. So, because she's on my phone plan. That's another thing you can do. Combine stuff. So I'm just saying, these are just suggestions on making money. We are also divided when you could pull your money together and, and make things better. So do like a co-op. Get together, set some goals, and everybody can't live with everybody. I know that, because Kay, I know her and her family, can't live with people. And that's what I'm saying. And we're sisters, but we're different. Even though we can come together and work together, we're different. Me, I've lived with all kind of people. I lived with a house with 4 families in it. My brother had a big old huge house, and it was me and my husband and kids upstairs. He was on the main floor, and her sister and her husband and family was in the downstairs apartment. He had a big house. And then my nephew and his wife and kids was at the back of the house. Yes, it was a big house, but we did it. And we had goals. We were paying off each other's debt. And we lived together for a year. I think we had committed to 2. It lasted a year. So we stuck it out a year.
That was pretty good.
So you can live. You can do it. You just have to establish rules. You have to establish boundaries and things like that. I live with another brother in Baltimore. Moved up there, stayed with him for 10 months. He's the one that basically taught me about money. So I was able to do that. He taught me, my brother is a millionaire. And he taught me about money in those 10 months. And I was able to leave him, and I was able to do better than I was before I went to his house. So I'm saying, and the thing is, I had to bow down to him, because my brother would get up and he would leave. He would leave. He would leave me keys. He would leave me money. He would tell me what his son, this son has football practice. This son has piano lessons. Make sure they make it. But guess what? Because I was the stay-at-home wife and my husband was working and I was living in this man's house, I did it. And I took care of his kids because he needed time away. So I'm saying, you guys have to set up boundaries, but you can do it to set up money. And then use your funds, your pool funds, to do something. Pay off debt, buy something, buy some property or whatever. And I put on here, the more the merrier. Because think about it. Like, if you get a house and your rent's and your mortgage is $2,000, and you get 10 people in there, that's $200 a piece. Can you do that? Maybe you guys can. To make your life better. Don't always say, hey, I can't live with anybody. You can. You can do anything you want to do. And if you're a Christian, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So don't play that game with me. So then another thing you can do, like when you guys are living together or just living separate, you need to think of investment opportunities. The old school savings account, I'm telling y'all, it's out. Because you can have $10,000 in the bank and then you look at your interest and it's 89 cents in a month. 89 cents ain't going to get you nowhere. So you need to take half of that money. Now don't get me wrong. If it took you to get to that point to put money to the side and that's all you feel comfortable with, okay, whatever. But people that have money take risk.
Yes.
We have taken a lot of risk. And guess what? Here we are today.
And now we're here.
We started at the bottom. Now we're here. So I'm saying, take half. If that's all you feel comfortable doing, go. What were you going to say?
I was just thinking of a comment that someone has said to me that, well, because you've been blessed, everybody's not there yet, this and that. But this is the thing that you have to think about. Are you going to emanate somebody that is not blessed, or are you going to emanate somebody that is blessed? Or are you going to listen to somebody that is not making money, or are you going to listen to somebody that's making money? So that was my thing. I'm trying to emanate people that is making $10 million a year, not somebody that's making $60,000 a year. I'm not doing that no more because I'm past that. So I was thinking about that because we was a comment that someone made when we was on a Zoom that, oh well, we don't have that to do that. You gotta take risks.
Yeah.
If you got 10 grand in the bank, take a couple of those grands and do something and take a risk. Yeah. I'm just saying, because in one of my accounts, just putting it out there, I got like a regular checking account. In one of the accounts I have, it's probably about $19,000. And I looked at my account today, and guess how much money I earned? 15 cents.
And that's what I'm saying.
15 cents. Are you crazy?
That old school stuff is gonna keep you broke. I'm just putting it out there. So do things like buy some stocks. You'll probably get at least 11-12% return on that. I do options trading.
Yeah. So
some days I get up before I even get out of bed. I buy option, make $300. Well, guess what? If I do that over a year's time, think about that. That's somebody's salary. So I'm just saying, you have to think of other ways to build your money up.
That's right. Yeah.
And then in all of this, family economics, agree to disagree. I know people that we know and family, and I'm just going to say it, people of African American descent, a lot of times you think if you have a falling out with your family or whatever, then that's it. No, agree to disagree. I have disagreements in my household all the time. Guess what? We family. We talk it out and we get over it. Now, one thing we don't do, we not going to put hands on each other because that's not something that I tolerate. But we going to talk it out and we going to get over it.
Yeah.
So, agree to disagree. So, take all that information that we gave you guys, and like I said, you can live with anybody. You can put money together with anybody. You just have to take risks, and you have to build your family economics. Because if you don't, you're just going to continue to stay where you're at.
That's right.
Yeah. So
and again, many of you said that 2020 was your year. So make it your year. Don't, this didn't happen. Make it your year. Yeah. So our cousin from Atlanta, we met a guy. And our cousin from Atlanta, I checked with him yesterday. He said, "Do you know this year is my best year?"
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Our best year too. So, in everything that you do, Be on your best behavior. Remember that. And in these days and times, be a blessing to someone else.
Bye.